Welcome to episode 43 of Sport SA Daily Diary. Today we're chatting to Blitzbok's coach, Neil Powell.
You don't want to turn it silent.
No, it's perfect. Morning, Neil. How are you doing today?
Oh, good. Thanks, Adam. Yeah, it's great to chat to you.
Yeah, good to have you on the show. Thank you for joining us. It's one more day to go, and then we're all allowed out to go for a bit of a run. Are you looking forward to that?
Yeah, definitely looking forward. Although they gave us strict time zones that we can get out, it's definitely looking forward to just get out of it and get onto the road and do a bit of a running session. Try to do it on a 40-meter space, but I must say it's more a mental challenge than a physical one. So looking forward to just get out on the road and be able to do a 5K just by running straight and not have to turn every 40 meters.
Yeah, exactly. And obviously, Neil, you don't have to only worry about yourself. You've got a whole team to worry about and their fitness and where they are. How have you been managing with all the players?
Yeah, it's a bit of a unknown and uncertain times for us. I mean, we don't even know when our next competition is, and I think for us at this stage, the very next thing that's scheduled for us is in September, and that's Paris London. That was postponed from April from end of May to September now. So, and we're not even certain that it's actually going to take place. It could be cancelled, and then we can maybe start only in December with Dubai and Cape Town. So there's still a lot of uncertainty. So it is difficult. It is challenging. And what we basically did is we almost saw the first 3 weeks of lockdown as our off season. So we didn't really bother the players or had a lot of communication with them. But we basically started last week, Monday, just to tighten the ropes a little bit and gave every guy a S&C program, a strength and conditioning program. So our S&C guy phoned each and every player in the squad to find out what type of space they have, what type of equipment they got, and then worked out a plan individually for each and every player. So he's done really well in adapting and listening to what they got, and then to work out a program for them. And then we also started with online coaching. So we did basically the last 2 weeks two online coaching sessions a week. We also did a mental coaching session, and then we tried to work in an educational session a week as well. So basically four sessions a week, 45 minutes, where we then let everybody jump onto the online platforms that's available for us, and then we do our coaching online and our mental skills development, and then also education. So one of our sponsors, FNB, were keen to help us with financial literacy. So I think a lot of the young guys in our system not really knowing how to budget and how to handle their money. So we also see this as an opportunity to work on the educational side of things.
And that's a great thing if you ask me. I mean, I was with ABSA for 6 years in their sponsorship team, and often we would see the soccer players or the rugby players or whoever coming through, and they wouldn't necessarily have the knowledge on that financial skills training or who to trust around them and that sort of thing. So that's a fantastic initiative from FNB there.
Yes, yeah. We're happy that we approached them, and they were, from the first moment, they were keen to get stuck in and get involved. And I think we're basically going to start with that literacy program in the next week, and it's going to be over 10 weeks. So it's almost 10 modules that they're doing over the 10 weeks, and had a look at all the modules that they're doing, and I'm keen. I'm definitely going to sit in as well, and I know I'm going to learn a lot from that as well. So it's I can just imagine how much it will mean for the youngsters in the team.
Yeah, for sure. Neil, just before we go into your coaching career, which has been pretty phenomenal, let's go back a few more years. You played for the Cheetahs, the Sharks, the Cats, the Griquas, the Bulls. Was rugby always your game growing up?
Yeah, I think it's always been my game. I'm the youngest of 3 brothers, so there was a lot of backyard rugby that was played at home. So it was basically my oldest brother against myself and my middle brothers. So Corneille against Jimmy and Neil. So, and it's always been like that. We played the odd cricket game, and not really soccer, but it was between rugby and cricket. But rugby was definitely the game that we played the most. And I think growing up, I remember that there was that Springbok Saga video that they had still on those VHS tapes, and I could basically commentate word for word the commentary on that video. So many times I've watched that tape. So I always had the desire to become a Springbok 15s player. Didn't manage to reach that goal of mine, but I did become a Springbok 15s player. So rugby was always a big part of my life, and always almost a passion that I had since I was young.
And Neil, from the records that I've got, you played sevens. You had 2 stints with sevens, one from 2001 to 2003, and the other from 2007 to 2012. Was there a gap there, a 4-year gap?
Yeah, there was basically a 4-year gap. So what happened is in that 2000 to 2001 stint, we got basically told that we have to go and play 15s I went to the Sharks, and I know Maurice Kuman went to the Bulls. We actually said we want to stay with sevens, and they said no, if they need us in 15s, we have to move to 15s for the Super Rugby or Super 10 or Super 12 or whatever it was back then. And we then had to go and play 15s. And then in my stint with the Sharks at that time, I broke my leg, and then it took me a while to recover from it. Then went back to the Cheetahs, played for the Cheetahs, got called up for the Catch, I think in 2004, and then I ruptured a disc in my back, which kept me out of rugby for another year. And then went to the Griquas because I didn't really get a contract at Free State again because I haven't played for a full year. Went to Griquas just to start my career almost again after serious injury, and then got contracted by the Bulls for 2006, 2007. So, and I think that was the gap between the 2 sevens playing times that I had. So the first stint was when I was very young, 22, 23. And then basically the last stint was almost like a career ender, where I didn't really get a contract again with the Bulls. And then Paul Drew came to me and said, listen, do you want to come back to the sevens? Because I played with him in 2000, 2001. And then he called me back to then come play for him as a coach. So, I was really fortunate to be able to then come back to the sevens, and basically that's where almost my coaching career started with sevens is when I came back as a player.
Yeah, and Neil, which game did you prefer? Because they are very different. There's similarities coming out now, which we'll chat about a bit later, but they are very different. Which was your preferred game?
Sure, so I think I preferred the sevens version format of the game. I think it's and the reason for it is you almost were allowed to use your own initiative and decision making on the field to do what you want to do. Where sometimes I felt like with 15s, especially being a scrum half, they told you must kick now, you must pass now, you must run now. So there was a little bit more freedom to almost express yourself, if I can say it like that. And with the 15s, it was very structured, and I liked I like structure, but I also like the fact that you can almost bring out your individual brilliance by your decision making and just maybe taking a risk here and there. And that's what I felt sevens was better in. It's just that a little bit more freedom to rely on your own decision making.
Okay. And Neil, when you came over for the second stint, when Paul brought you over as a coach, was the plan for you to take over from him?
No, not really. To be honest, I never thought that I would actually become a coach. So I got married very late in my life. So only when I was 32. And the reason for it is I always said that I don't want my family to have the rugby life where you away weekends, you go on tour. And then basically in my last season or two of playing, everything almost developed into this becoming a coach, because what happened in the last 2 years, there was youngsters coming in like William Small-Smith, Robert Eberson, those young guys. And then in between the drills, when they don't do something well, I'll pull them to one side and say, listen, maybe try this. I think this will work better in this situation. or rather try that, or this wasn't maybe a good option, try this option. And all of a sudden I developed not just the passion for coaching, but the passion for working with these young men as well, and to try and make a difference in their lives, not just on the field, but off the field as well. So that passion for coaching, or that coaching, almost developed only the last 2 years of my playing career. Never thought that I'll become a coach, to be honest.
And I mean, essentially, you took to it like a duck to water. I mean, you had a phenomenal start, starting in 2013, and 2014 you won the Commonwealth Games. I mean, that must have been a great feather in your cap, and wow, I'm actually good at this.
Yeah, I think very blessed. I think it was a good start, and I think and again, I think it was a credit to the system and to the rest of the management. I think I was lucky to walk into a system with a management that's already been around for the last 7 or 6 years on a World Series. So they knew exactly what it took to be successful, and I think that definitely contributed a lot to our success. And I think the difficult thing for me going from playing to coaching was that the guys that I coached was actually the guys that I played with the last 2 years. I mean, a guy like Frankie Horn, I was even roommates with him for a whole season on the World Series, and now I need to coach this guy. So I think that transition was a bit challenging, but again, I think the senior players like Frankie, Carl Brown, Philip Snyman, those guys actually made it easy by telling the guys, listen, this guy's not your friend anymore. He's not a fellow player anymore. He's your coach now, so respect him as a coach, and you must call him coach. So I'm the last guy that will go on titles. I said you can call me anything as long as there's respect. And they tell the guys, listen, it's not your mate anymore. He's your coach, and you need to call him coach. So I think they also contributed in making that transition a little bit smoother, and then obviously the success early on also helped. You know what it's like when you take over a job and the guys will still go, yes, but I still played with this guy just a while ago. Can he actually now coach us? And I think by getting success very early on, everybody aligned then behind us, because basically with my third tournament in charge, and that was PE, we won PE, and I think after that, then everybody aligned. There was still a bit of doubt, and then all of a sudden, everybody aligned, not just behind me, but behind the whole management and where we wanted to go over the next few years.
Yeah. And I mean, Neil, your success didn't just stop at the Commonwealth Games. I mean, your record has been phenomenal. 2013, 14 second, 15 second, 16 second, 17 first, 18 first. Then obviously last season there was a bit of a wobble. But I mean, what do you put this amazing success down to? If you look at other South African, not only rugby, but cricket or football, no one has had the success that you have generated.
Yeah, not me. Again, the system and everybody else in the system. So,
but you're leading the system.
Yeah. But geez, I must be honest. I think that we really got a great management, from a medical staff to the guys that's looking after the rehab, to Marius Kuman that's looking after the academy and making sure that if there's senior guys leaving or retiring, that the next generation of 7 players are coming through. So I think it's a well-oiled machine, and everybody is doing their jobs to contribute to the success of this team. But I think one of the things is the consistency in players. We basically started to build a team that were consistently the same, especially around 2015, 2016, 2017, when we really achieved our success on field. And then all of a sudden, after 2018, the last time we won the World Series, then a lot of players left. I think a guy like Kwagga left, Tim Magaba left, Ciabello left, Ruanel left, Dylan Sage left, Roscoe Speckman left. So if you name those guys and you look at the positions they're playing, then it was basically a full starting lineup that left, with South Africa being having a serious injury. It's basically a full starting lineup, and that's why we struggle. But we knew it's going to be a challenge that year that we came fourth, because we know that sometimes we're going to have to select the JC over Carl Brown to make sure that we get him experience, with the end goal in mind, the Olympics in 2020. So so it was a challenging season last season. I think at times, when you're alone in your hotel in a Vancouver or in a wherever, you did feel sorry for yourself, and and you almost had to regroup again after the tournament. But I think again, credit to everybody in the system. It's a never say die attitude. It's a never surrender attitude. And every time when we didn't do that well in a tournament, the guys came back the next tournament and we either won that tournament or did really well. So I think the culture that we built over the last few years in this system has really pulled the system in the right direction over the last few years.
And you chat about the conveyor belt of players. I mean, you guys do phenomenal work. I'm an avid sevens watcher, and 1 week you'll be watching, and then next week there's like 3 or 4 players you've never heard of, and these oaks are scoring tries left, right, and center. I mean, the conveyor belt that you guys are producing is phenomenal.
Yeah. Again, like I said, I think credit to the academy guys, Marius Kuman, for firstly and his management staff as well, that firstly go out and scout those players, and then obviously coach them to get them at a certain level, so that when we need them in the senior team, that they are at a good base of 7 skills already. So and that's something that we started when Paul was still there, myself and Marius Kuman. We basically started the academy. We drew up a proposal, took it to SA Rugby, and said, listen, development can't take place at national level. We need to have an academy to develop these guys, let them play 4 or 5 invitational sevens tournaments, and then go on the World Series. They can't get into the Springbok team and then play their very first sevens tournament in the World Series. It just can't work like that. You can't do the development at that stage, or that level. So we started that academy in, I think it was 2013, January 2013, and our first intake for the academy was Kwagga Smith, Werner Kok, Cheslin Colby, Justin Geduld, and then 3 or 4 other guys that didn't really make it. So we were fortunate to again have a great start as an academy, and almost showed SA Rugby that there is value in having the academy, because they obviously needed to fund it. So we started the academy, and that academy is done well for us since the 2013. So I'm very happy.
And Neil, do you feel that your academy and your 7 structure gives benefit to the 15s game as well? Because there have been some amazing players that have transitioned to the 15s game.
Yeah, I definitely think there's benefit for the 15s in terms of the 7s and what we coach and what we try to achieve in the 7s. And if we think about it, I mean, a 19-year-old that plays in a Hong Kong stadium, to a full stadium, and just that environment and the pressure that they feel, and almost to get that almost to handle the pressure that comes with it. I think it's massive for a guy like Cheslin Colby in a World Cup final, scoring that last try that he did. I mean, to win the World Cup for us, a guy like Kwagga Smith. I think what helps with us is we have time in the season to actually really work hard on the guys' individual skills. Where we're 15s, you play weekend for weekend for weekend. Where we will play 2 weekends, and then we'll have about 3 or 4 weeks in between that we can really almost work on those individual skills, and not just work on game plan, but try to individually make the players better as well. We do reviews, we look at the mistakes that are made, and when we have time to go work on those mistakes so that they don't make those mistakes in a second tournament. And I think with the 15s, you don't always have that time, and your squad's also bigger. So to work on those individual skills with 60 guys is a lot more difficult than having to work on individual skills for just 20 guys. So, but yes, I definitely think there's a lot physically and mentally that 7s can contribute to the 15s game. But I also think the 15s can contribute to the 7s game. So that's why sometimes when we contract 19, 20, and 21-year-olds, we don't let them just be contracted to 7s or just to 15s. We let them do both, because we think whether they're going to go 7s one day or 15s one day, by doing both formats of the game will just help develop their game and help develop the player.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. Neil, you've had 16 tournament wins so far. One of the most special ones to me was when you guys won in Nelson Mandela Bay, the year that Madiba actually passed away. That must have been an incredible special moment for the team.
Yeah, it was definitely a special moment, and that was that very first tournament that we actually won, and I can remember the week still clearly, and again, it's probably because it was such a special tournament and a special week, and a lot of challenges in that week as well. I can remember obviously Madiba passing away on the Thursday, and there was even talks of cancelling the tournament because of that. And even on Thursday, I can remember Cheslin Colby injured his knee in a defense session, and it almost looked like he wouldn't be part of the tournament. So a lot of challenges, and it was my first local tournament, my first home tournament. So, and I think at one stage I did definitely felt so sorry for myself in my own room with just all the pressure and the things that happened in that week. And I can remember that on my bed for 10-15 minutes, really almost depressed, I almost want to say, but not that much, but disappointed with how the week's been going. Cheslin's injured, Nelson Mandela passing away, and then needed to still work, and I was on my bed for 15 minutes, and I said, okay, sleep for half an hour, regroup yourself, and then you just have to start working again because it's a busy week. So yeah, but it definitely a special one. I think because it was my first tournament, but also because Nelson Mandela passed away on that Thursday, and we basically did it for him and managed to win that tournament to almost remember him as the great leader he was.
Yeah, absolutely. You won in Nelson Mandela again the following season, and then the first time it was at the Cape Town Stadium, you won there as well. Haven't won there since. But tell us, was there a big difference when they moved from PE to Cape Town in terms of the tournament?
Yeah, well, to be honest, for me, not really. I think we had amazing support in PE as well. I think what is different is just obviously the sightseeing for the international teams. There's obviously more opportunity for them in and around Cape Town than in PE. But in terms of the stadium and the tournament itself, I think it's very much similar. I think it's amazing stadium. The Nelson Mandela Bay Stadium is as amazing as Greenpoint Stadium. And we had a lot of support over that last 2 years in that stadium as well, almost a capacity crowd as well in Nelson Mandela Bay. And but yes, Cape Town obviously also special. It's the mother city. It's a beautiful place, and I think from the international player side, they enjoy it more because there's more things to do, and it's obviously very, very beautiful as well, and an iconic city. So, but yeah, to be honest, for me, from the playing and the tournament side, there's not much difference.
Okay. And then Neil, 2016, 2017, you guys smashed it out the park. You had 5 tournament wins. You won by 30 points. The following season, though, was quite different because you were very consistent. You only won 2 tournaments, and you won by 2. You sort of won the series by 2 points. Very sort of squeaky bum time, as Alex Ferguson would say.
Yeah, no, and again, I think it's very much a cultural thing in South Africa. Is when we achieve success, we really struggle to stay at the top. But where you must probably need to give New Zealand credit, although I don't want to give them credit. They do have that culture of consistent winning and staying at the top, where I felt like sometimes as South Africans, as soon as we achieve success, we almost get a bit of ahead of ourselves. Not really arrogant, but just a little bit ahead of ourselves. And in the next season, we're struggling a bit. I think it's for a lot of teams the same. If you look at America, last season they've done really well. Just got beaten by Fiji in the World Series again by 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 points. I think they played each other the very last tournament, either in the quarter and the semis, and whichever won that game would have won the World Series. And then Fiji beat America, and then they just beat America in the World Series as well. So and this year America is really struggling. I mean, they're not really anywhere. Fiji the same. They were really struggling this season. So I think it's a difficult thing to have success over a long time. And like I said, I think we need to give New Zealand credit here in the way or the culture that they have to be successful all the time, and it's something that we try to do, but it is difficult. It is difficult to stay at the top.
Yeah, well, I mean, you're doing it phenomenally well. Neil, you chat about New Zealand there. Who's your bugbear team to lose against? For me, I cannot stand losing against the Poms. I'll lose against New Zealand. I'll lose against Australia. But losing against the Poms to me is the one. Who's that team for you?
Then we're on the same page there, Adam. I also hate losing against them. I know I can't use that strong word, hate, but I hate losing against them. And that's probably why they often beat us. And I think talking to our psychologist, he actually told me, Neil, you have to concede these games against England, because what the players, from the players' side, they say before we play England, they almost feel like I'm more tense or more aggro or more come over more aggro towards them than any other game. And then the psychologist told me, Neil, you have to concede those games. You have to, before you go into that game, you must say, I'm happy if we lose this game. And to be honest, it actually worked. I think I was a lot calmer before the game. I wasn't as aggro as I always am before we play those games. And we managed to get a few over them again. But I definitely agree that the Poms are basically the game that I don't want to lose.
I'm glad we're on the same page then. Neil, we chatted to David Campisi a couple of weeks or a couple of days ago, and he obviously also played 15s and he also played 7s. And he mentioned he feels that the 7s game has changed a lot in terms of the fact that it's becoming a bit not as individualistic as it used to be. Guys are kicking for a touchline, etc. South Africa don't do that so much. Fiji don't do that so much, but a lot of the other teams are starting to do that. Why do you think there's becoming that shift in the game where it's becoming essentially more tactical than individual brilliance?
I think it's everybody's got different tactics, and I think if you think about a team like New Zealand, they definitely use that tactic of kicking to touch, especially if they get penalties, because they know they can get their ball back. And also, I think it's they know that their forwards are a lot taller than our forwards, so their line-out ball is almost a guarantee. So they gain about 30 meters of territory, and then they should get, or 99%, they should get the ball back in the lineouts, and it's a great opportunity for them to then attack of that lineout. So they are good in their lineout attack, and I think it's something that they work on. So everybody's got different ways of playing, and again it's very tactical. It's technical as well. We'll rather look to speed up the game, where with New Zealand, with their bigger guys, it's almost like they want to slow down the game against us specifically, because they know fitness-wise they can't keep up with us. So they want to slow it down, kick it out, walk to the line out, and then they can play off one of their best attacking platforms that they have, and that's their line-out play. So, everybody uses different tactics. We want to speed up the game because we want to make the big boys tired. We want to move them around the park. Because we don't have a big guy. If you think about New Zealanders and you think about a South Africa or Branko de Pree, we're by far smaller than those big boys and the Fijians. So our whole tactic is intensity. We want to play intensity game, and by kicking out to touch and then having to get to the line out, we almost give those guys time to recover by slowing the game down. So we'll rather try to speed up the game, and then some bigger teams or some teams like New Zealand, especially against us, would like to slow down the game.
Yeah. And I mean, to me, it's not spoiling the game, but it's certainly changing the game from the excitement that it is. But Neil, you chat about the size of our players and the size of their players. Put a huge player in front of Branko de Pree or whatever, and he'll smash it. Do you guys practice that going into training week in, week out? The fact that our guys, no matter how small or how big they are, they'll win the rucks, they'll win the mauls, they'll stick their body on the line no matter what. I mean, it's phenomenal to watch South Africa play.
Yeah, we definitely have to work on those contact skills, because physically we're by far smaller than anybody else on the World Series. So and I think the idea came from, I was a wrestler myself as well, but if you look at all the wrestlers in rugby, I mean, 100%, not the biggest guy, but not scared of the contact situation. A guy like Kobus Groblaar that played for the Lions. A lot of wrestlers are really good in the contact situation. So, and it actually started with Paul True already, where he got a Springbok wrestler in to actually come and do wrestling drills with us. And I must say, we still continued with that wrestling and wrestling sessions every Monday for 45 minutes. The guys are smashing each other in a wrestling session, and I must say, I feel like that's probably the one thing that massively contributes to a Branco able to handle a New Zealander or Fiji, and that's probably 40 to 30 kgs heavier than him and about a few centimeters taller than him. So, and in those sessions, we also encourage a Selvin to go up against a Philip Snyman, or Selvin to go up against the Impy, so that those smaller guys can really learn how to handle by using a bigger guy's momentum, to use that momentum against him and to basically win those physical confrontations.
Well, you're certainly setting them up for a career post Sevens rugby. They can go and wrestle with WWE.
Some of them could. The Branco can definitely do that. I think Branco is a guy that everybody's so scared of wrestling because he's so good, and he's very strong, and his technique is also good.
Neil, what does the future hold for yourself? Obviously, you've had a phenomenal career coaching. I take it you're not going anywhere anytime soon.
Yeah, well, my contract is ending end of this year, so it would have been after the Olympics. But I think with the postponement of the Olympics for to next year, I think we already had discussion with SA Rugby, and they are keen then to sign on for another year, maybe another 2 years, because we have the Sevens World Cup in Cape Town in 2022. So I think I'll still be around till 2022. We did have conversations with SA Rugby on that already, but nothing on paper yet, so I haven't signed yet. But there is definitely conversations of extension for another 2 years. So hopefully that will come through.
Well, that's good to hear, Neil, because you're certainly becoming the Alex Ferguson of Sevens rugby. You shake your head, but I think you really are very modest in terms of the success that you've had. So, Neil, it's been fantastic chatting to you today on Sport SA Daily Diary. Thank you so much for joining us. Good luck with coming out of the lockdown and the final prep for next year's Olympics. Hoping for gold there, I'm sure.
Yes, definitely. I think the previous Olympics, a little bit disappointed with the color of medal we got. Was hoping to get it ourselves in that final, but unfortunately didn't go our way in that tournament. And yeah, I think from our side, we'll definitely work hard to hopefully be successful at this Olympics. And yeah, all the best for you as well. Enjoy the run tomorrow morning.
Yes,
so all the best, and really good to chat to you. Thanks a lot for having me.
Awesome. Thanks, Neil.
Cheers, mate. Thank you.
Catch us again tomorrow on Sport SA Daily Diary, where we'll be chatting to South African triathlete Gillian Kerr-Sanders.